From the blind eternities to your favorite local game store, welcome to Planeswalker Radio, your ultimate source for all things Magic the Gathering. Whether you're slinging spells at Friday Night Magic, brewing the perfect deck, or just diving into the lore of the multiverse, we've got you covered. Join us as we explore the latest set releases, wild deck techs, and the stories behind the cards we love. So grab your deck, shuffle up, and get ready to ignite your spark, because this is Planeswalker Radio. Here at Planeswalker Radio, we love turning cardboard sideways and slinging spells, and it's important to us that the place we choose to do that is fun, relaxed, and professional. That's why we choose to buy our cards and accessories at First Player. Their showroom staff in Calgary, Alberta are some of the best in the business with decades of experience. They're always able to help us and members of the community find exactly the correct cards to add to our latest decks. Don't live in Calgary, Alberta? Not to worry, they ship Canada-wide. Check out their website at firstplayer.ca for Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Lorcana, and the accessories to protect your cards. First Player, the heart of the gaming community in the heart of Calgary, Alberta. Find their website linked in the description below. Don't go anywhere, the show is about to begin.
What's up, Nerd Home? We're back with another episode of Planeswalker Radio, and today we're talking about something pretty cool. We're starting with the first of our episodes for a series we're doing.
A long series.
Long
in fact,
series.
A 32 episode series.
Yeah, this is going to be 32 episodes. We're going to go through every single color and color combination on the color chart for Magic. So it's going to be an exciting series. We're going to be spreading this out over probably the next 2 years.
2 to 3 years. It'll be 1 to 2 episodes on this per month that will get added to the series. It'll be part of the regular Planeswalker Radio production lineup.
Yeah.
So maybe twice a month, if you're lucky, you'll get one of those episodes, but for sure once.
We're going to be covering a lot of different things in these episodes, guys. Philosophy of the decks, strengths, weaknesses, good cards,
notable stuff.
So we're going to be covering a lot in these episodes. But today we get to start with white.
White.
Yes.
The first of the Hulberg.
The first of the Hulberg.
First of the Hulberg.
So I mean, often seen as the color of balance in the community, but it really does a lot more than just keep games fair. Let's dive right in.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we might as well start kind of at the beginning with how what is seen, what's the philosophy is, all that kind of stuff, right? The kind of on a base level, it's all about fairness, structure, and protecting the group, the majority.
Yeah. You see a lot of not necessarily targeted hate, but group hate, but also group love.
Yeah. It's probably where you'll find the most, um, stacks, taxes, oppression, and all that, but also the most group hug, and like proliferation of moving stuff around and creating things and all that. So it's all about really what are the rules and how do they stay within the rules, right? And when you really think about it, it fits in like that kind of, I mean, almost from a lore standpoint, the peace, the law, the morality, the balance.
Yeah, I mean, in contrast to, other colors that are similar, do similar things, you've got black and blue, which are removal focused, protection focused, all of that white can do. But, black is targeted against your enemies, and blue is all about saving yourself. So just different takes on similar things, but white very much about the whole board.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially, like, I like that it doesn't just care about your own board, it cares about everybody's boards. It checks everything, right? It protects itself, and it helps everybody else where it can and when it should.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, some of the strengths of white are in that, it's not necessarily all about protecting yourself with white. There are lots of pieces that are there to say, hey, you have to pay to attack me now. That's stacks. We'll get into that. But there's also wide board states where you're not necessarily looking to deal a massive amount of damage in one hit to a single player, but you're looking to be wide enough that if other players attack you, you have defenders, and you can kind of move forward through that as well.
I mean, I guess this is probably one of the things white is known most for. They don't do it exclusively, but they do it the best by far,
by
which is
far.
tokens,
Yeah,
right?
tokens.
Just having the widest line possible out of
Yeah,
everybody at the table.
absolutely. I
Admirable.
mean, Jenna's got a Jenny Fay deck, and it's green, red, white, but almost all of the token gen in that deck is from the
It's
white
just
cards.
raw white. Yeah,
Yeah,
the white just it just produces and produces and
yeah,
produces.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's incredible with that. It's also very good for life gain.
Yeah.
You see a lot of life gain in black as well. Life gain, life loss in black more
Hmm.
so, where it's I benefit, you suffer. White is all about I benefit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And some of the most common life gain
Yeah.
pieces are in white.
I think it's a really interesting point as well, right? When you look at the contrast between white and black, there, white, um, when it sees creatures enter the battlefield,
Hmm.
it heals, right?
Yeah.
Or when you put counters on things, make them bigger, it heals and all
Yeah.
that. Black, it cares about when your opponent loses life, it
Yeah.
heals. Or
Exactly.
when a creature dies, you gain life,
Yeah.
right? So they're capable of doing the same thing, but white cares about the growth and the structured side of it instead of
Totally.
just the death and destruction,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. Yeah. They're also surprisingly, I know we've talked about them being the good guys, if you will, but they're also some of the best at board wipes.
Hmm.
And that really falls into a control aspect of how white plays.
Hmm.
You don't want everyone else getting really out of hand with massive creatures or massive life gain, life loss situations. So they're very well equipped with several incredible board wipes.
Yeah. I mean, again, it falls into the philosophy, right? Since they can produce so many tokens so fast and be a very wide board state,
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter if they wipe the board because 2 turns later they'll be back with exactly the same board
Yeah.
state, right?
Yeah.
That's just how they operate. It's a constant machine that's just churning out dudes.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And a lot of the time, a board wipe will stop other players'
Hmm.
games from continuing past that point. They might have some key pieces out, and it's just over.
Hmm.
And then white is sitting there with several enchantments that give them creatures,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they don't care.
And they always make sure they finish the job as well, right? So they do a board wipe, and maybe there's something with indestructible or something that doesn't go away for
Yeah,
whatever reason. They have those targeted exile spells,
yeah.
right? Swords and Path, which we'll
Path.
go over
Yeah,
a little bit more in depth a little bit later.
yeah,
But they have those to make sure that even after the board wipe, they can finish the job and give themselves a clean slate to be able to push forward during
yeah.
events they
They
can.
can do some brutal things with board clearing.
Yeah, yeah, they're really, really, really good at it.
Yeah, yeah. Another thing they're really good at, taxes.
Taxes.
Taxes. It's the order side of white, if you
Yeah.
will. You've got your board wipes, your military pieces, but taxes come in. There's nothing guaranteed in life but death and taxes, and white really believes in
It
that
really
mantra.
believes in that philosophy. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, it's all about when they're using it's all about slowing down their opponents, right?
absolutely.
How much can they lock the board down while they get themselves
Yeah.
up and running
A
to get
lot
the
of their
piece?
taxes as well have benefits for them. So
Yeah,
they'll tax the table, but cut costs on their own.
yeah,
So very, very interesting gameplay can be coming out of that.
yeah,
Honestly, if you play a stacks deck, you're the worst. I've said it
yeah,
before. I'm going
yeah.
to say it today. Don't. But it's a mechanic you can't use.
This it's really funny because the two strategies that I hate the most and I really struggle to play with if I agree to even play with it are mass land destruction and stack stacks.
Yep.
And white does both of those things really, really, really well.
Yeah. Yeah. Really, really well. Absolutely. What are some weaknesses of White, John?
Yeah, I mean they've got a few.
Fair.
To be fair, right?
Yeah.
The first one is
I remember when I was first getting into Magic. Sorry
yeah, no,
to
no,
cut in. When I was first getting into Magic, this was a couple years ago now, I would
a
assume.
few years at least.
Yeah, and White was in such a terrible place at
Yeah,
that time.
yeah.
They had no support, and they've come a long way, but they still have their weaknesses. So yeah,
Yeah. I remember when I started almost a decade ago now. It yeah, it was rough.
yeah,
It was rough to play white
I
then.
can
It
imagine.
was it was purely a support color. You could never use it to lead
Yeah,
anything.
yeah. I
Now,
feel like probably heavily leaning on the taxes side because a lot of the
yeah,
older cards I see are those tax
yeah.
cards. So yeah,
Uh,
it's
It was that and angels basically
right.
is what you had.
Yeah,
That and angels.
yeah.
Um, Weaknesses. One of the things that made it really difficult to play white, one of the things it still kind of struggles with, not nearly as much, but it still kind of struggles
Hmm.
with, um, is resources,
Right.
right? So card draw, mana ramp,
Yeah.
right? They do have things that can do it, and we'll go over those as
Yeah.
well in a little bit.
They
But
have some of the best pieces of both of those things,
yeah,
to be fair, but
absolutely,
it's the limitation of basically two
they
cards.
have like two or three cards
Yeah.
that do it, right?
Yeah.
And it makes it really difficult because they're often relying on catch up tactics
Yeah, absolutely.
to get cards and to get mana up to where the rest of the board is, right?
Yeah.
When you compare like a mono white and a mono green is moving on that front
It's
so much
gone.
faster,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah.
White has to rely on being able to pillow fort and tax hard to be
Yeah.
able to catch
Yeah.
up.
Even just pulling as an example, one of our members of production, Ruben in the hot seat there, he built a Chatterfang deck, and I know it's not mono green, but that thing moves so
It's
quickly. It's
fast.
insane.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's really fast. Yeah, I mean the kind of the part that hurts about that, right, is because they do have some of the best pieces. You want it to be better at those things,
Yeah.
but the reality is you need another color to support it to be
Yeah.
able to do that, right? You need to throw in green or blue or something like that to get the extra cards and to get the extra
Yeah.
ramp to go faster.
Absolutely. It's also reliant on, numbers.
Yeah.
There's not there. Don't get me wrong. There are a few big heavy hitters, and we're going to talk about a couple of them in the episode here. But there's not many big heavy hitters
Yeah.
in white. You're looking for a wide board state that can overwhelm the fences
Hmm.
rather than one single creature that is punching through like you would in green,
Yeah.
right? And again, mixing it with another color is really helpful here. Throw in some red, and all of a sudden, those small little creatures are doing damage when they come in, or they're getting
Hmm.
buffed. So there's ways to make it work, but again, white by itself, which is what we're talking about today, is a little bit limited on that front.
It is, yeah. And I mean, this will be a theme that goes over probably all 32 episodes that, especially these mono colors, these
Yeah,
first five, they are better mixed
yeah,
because other colors are able to cover the weaknesses that they have
absolutely.
naturally as a solo
Yeah,
color.
absolutely. Any dual or trinary land deck is going to have less holes to fill
Yeah,
than a mono. But that's kind of the fun part of building a mono.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, I guess we're ready to get into cards here, and talk about some of the specifics that we've been kind of leading you guys on into for the episode here.
Yeah.
This first set are things that you're going to see just a whole ton
All the time.
in Commander.
Yeah.
Is a lot of this stuff. There's some things that we'll talk about a little bit later that are kind of more iconic. So yeah, the first one that we'll go over here, this is probably going to be the everybody's like, oh, we saw that coming
Yeah.
for Commander.
The first card is the first card you all thought of when we started doing this white episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was the immediate one. Smothering Tide is the first one that we'll talk about. Why? Because this fills one of the gaps,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. We talked about earlier on how white struggles with ramp and mana generation. This is the card that fixes that for white. Now, we also spoke about this really kind of being the only card,
Yeah,
and there are others, but nothing does treasure-based ramp quite like Smothering Tide.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So Smothering Tide is three generic and a white for a total of four CMC. Enchantment that says whenever an opponent draws a card, that player may pay two. Notice the stacks there,
There's
right?
the
Or the
stacks component.
taxes.
Yeah.
Um, if the player doesn't, you create a treasure token.
Yeah.
Right? Nice and easy, right?
Super duper easy. And I mean, there's lots of ways to make this incredibly broken where you're pulling in way more mana every turn than just four or three, I guess I
Yeah,
should say.
yeah,
But by itself, all alone in a white deck, this is a key piece of pretty much every white deck. I actually think I have Smothering Tide in every single white deck I own, whether it's a
yeah,
mix or every
yeah.
single one.
It's just that good.
Yeah.
Notably as well, it is on the game changer list.
Yes.
It's on there for a
Yeah.
reason. It fits into, I know they don't use this philosophy when they pick out these cards, but it fits into the philosophy I have of if it's a game changer, it should be changing every single game that it's in. It
Yeah,
should be increasing the power, making a difference.
yeah,
Smothering Tithe is absolutely that card. It's an
absolutely.
absolute unit.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, auto include for
Yeah,
pretty much if you have one, put it in
yeah,
everything, and just leave it at that.
yeah,
Yeah. Next up, we got land tax. It is a single white for the CMC. It's an enchantment as well. At the beginning of your upkeep, if an opponent controls more lands than you, you may search your library for up to 3 basic land cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand, and then shuffle. So this helps you if you're mana cut in your opening hand, or you are mid-game and you haven't drawn a land in 7 turns. Whatever it might be. This is going to help you get back into playing lands, which not as effective as Smothering Tithe from the rant perspective, but keeps your hand full of what you need to actually do your job.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, the idea behind this card I really, really love because it'll trigger every turn basically if you don't go first.
yeah, yeah,
Um, right? Or if you miss a land drop or something like that and you're behind until other people miss a significant amount of land drops. Because even on the first, it puts 3 basics in.
yeah,
That means you now have, once people start running out of lands in their hand, you have 3 extra turns that you're putting
yeah,
down lands.
absolutely.
So this is a long-term play that can come out on turn one
Yeah,
to start getting you ahead
yeah.
early on.
The only thing that would make this better is, once again, filling in that gap with green, where you could play more than one land a turn.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
But it's still great to always have land in your hand. It's a great feeling when you're coming into a turn and you know I'm going to have an extra piece of mana to play this turn. So,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
So the next one, again, we're kind of keeping with the theme of ramp and all this one. This one, I feel like was kind of brought into the light by Command Zone.
Yeah.
Um, I think Josh Lee Kwai plays this religiously, like just yeah, just really. This is where I first saw it, and after I saw it on Command Zone, all of a sudden it started popping up everywhere in my games
Yeah.
and all that.
Yeah.
So the card is Esper Sentinel. It's 1 white mana for an artifact creature, human soldier, 1/1, which says whenever an opponent casts their first non-creature spell each turn, draw a card unless that player pays X, where X is Esper Sentinel's power. Usually this is going to be 1.
Yeah.
Chances that you're going to buff Esper Sentinel very low.
Possible in white.
Maybe it gets caught by a Lord effect or something
Yeah.
like that. That
Yeah.
that it does. It is a
It
human
is a
soldier,
human soldier.
which
There
is
are a million Lord
just
effects.
like the most common
Yeah.
types to find in white is
Yeah.
human soldier. So
Yeah.
chance it gets hit by a Lord effect, it's there for sure, especially if
Absolutely.
you're built around
Yeah.
that theme.
Yeah.
But again, it's almost another auto include because it's a turn one way to start ramping yourself up.
Yeah, absolutely. This is kind of
Right?
Smothering Tide's counter component.
Yeah.
It's the card draw piece that white struggles with. This fixes that.
Yeah.
So very similar cards, just for the two different weaknesses of what white really has.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. We've also got the Wedding Ring in our list here. It is 4 CMC. It's 2 generic and 2 white for an artifact. When Wedding Ring enters the battlefield, if it was cast, target opponent creates a token that is a copy of it. So you cast it on yourself and you're giving your opponent a copy.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever an opponent who controls an artifact named Wedding Ring draws a card during their turn, you draw a card. Whenever an opponent who controls an artifact named Wedding Ring gains life during their turn, you gain that much life. So this is, I mean, it's a huge political piece.
Yep.
This is you're going to be drawing and gaining life off of someone else at the table, and it does work in reverse as well. So they are also gaining life and drawing cards off of you. So essentially you are saying to one person at the table, you're my friend, let's be friends and not hurt each other.
Yeah.
um, Realistically, this is going to increase your card draw at least by 1,
Yeah.
at
At least
least.
just by the nature. Yeah.
If you put this on the right player, i.e., maybe a blue player or even a black player, you're going to potentially be increasing your card draw significantly. And if it's a black or a white player that you put it on, you're going to be increasing your life gain massively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The interesting thing in this is that they separated the text on it. So the middle text is whenever an opponent who controls an artifact named Wedding Ring. This means you don't have to cast it. If
Mm-hmm.
you cast it and attach it, and somebody else also casts it and attach it, You
Yeah.
could have an entire pod of 4 people all triggering their wedding ring
Yeah.
because it doesn't care about who the other link is. It just cares if they have the ring.
Yeah. Just a cool piece of interaction that, funnily enough, fixes card draw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really does.
Yeah.
The next up one we're going to bring up for ramp here is Deep Gnome Terramancer. Now, this one I actually didn't know about until I was doing research here.
I read
Um,
it for the first time today, so
yeah,
yeah, it looks pretty cool.
it's pretty interesting. So it's 2 mana, a generic and a white for a creature gnome wizard. It's a 2/2. It's got flash, and it's got an ability called Mold Earth.
I love a flash creature.
Flash creatures are
They're just fun.
they're yeah, especially if you know how to use them right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
great. Whenever one or more land enters the battlefield under an opponent's control without being played, you may search your library for a plains card to put it onto the battlefield tapped and shuffle. Do this only once each turn.
So this is if someone does a cultivate.
If somebody ramps.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if somebody is ramping, doing a cultivate, doing a farseek, anything like that, that's when this is going to trigger deep gnome.
yeah,
I think that's cool.
yeah.
Keeps you on pace with a green player.
It really does.
Yeah,
It is. I don't think it's an auto include in every deck.
no, not quite.
But if you're playing like a landfall strategy, this guy goes in
Yeah,
right away.
absolutely,
Right?
absolutely. Just really nice that they come into the battlefield as well. You know,
Yeah,
where land tax that we were talking about before, it brings
puts
the
it into
land
your
into your
hand.
hand.
Yeah,
This puts them on the battlefield, so it
yeah,
keeps you at that same pace. And yeah, as much as it's not an auto included, is a very cool card.
it's a
It's
good.
also a 2/2, so it's not like it's a weak little creature.
y-
It's decently powered for what it's doing as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and you can do it like because it's got flash. As soon as you see somebody do the cultivate, you can
yeah,
respond and bring it
yeah,
in.
absolutely.
Or worst case scenario, you're being attacked. You need a 2/2 blocker. You don't have one. You flash him in.
Yeah,
You have 2/2 blocker
yeah,
there. So
exactly.
he's useful outside of his purpose,
Totally.
but
Yeah,
inside of his purpose, it's a little bit
2 mana
niche.
for a 2/2.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Archaeomancer's Map. It is 3 CMC, 2 generic, and a single white for an artifact. When this artifact enters, search your library for up to 2 basic plains cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand, then shuffle. Whenever a land an opponent controls enters, if that player controls more lands than you, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Wow.
Incredible.
Yeah, I'd
Incredible.
not seen this card until today either, and this is now a card that I will be hunting for, and I think this might actually be an auto include
It
in almost any white deck I have.
Absolutely. The fact that it goes and gets, especially if you're uncut, it goes and gets the lands for you,
Yeah,
and then gives you 2 turns of, well, not even 2 turns. It checks. Did you put a
it
land in?
guarantees you
Puts it in.
two
Yeah.
turns. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So it starts putting it in, and then if you're really behind on land and you have the land tax out at the same time,
yeah.
that plus this lets you just, I'm going to get some lands. I'm going to
Puke
put
out
it
some
out
lands.
until you're up to speed.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
It's
Yeah,
a fantastic equalizer, I
yeah,
think.
yeah. Very, very good card. Plus it looks pretty.
It is a nice card. I do
Yeah,
like it. Yeah, I kind of wonder if there's alt arts that are like a full art or
that
something
would be
like
kind of
that.
cool. Yeah,
I feel like this is a really well made
yeah,
card design.
absolutely. So, I mean, we've talked about some of the ramp issues, some of the cards that fix that.
Yeah.
What do we got for archetypes on white?
Yeah, I think the next thing we'll go into is life gain here because this is just a huge thing that they do. And of course, there's far more that we can talk about. So
Yeah,
I've picked a few here,
few cards. Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I think I've only picked two, right? These are kind of big names that are known within it.
yeah. I think, realistically, life gain is probably white's staple outside of token gen,
Yeah.
obviously, which we're talking about next, funnily enough. But when you think white, you think, oh, he's going to be getting a lot of life. So it just is what it is, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely. So the first one that we're going to talk about is the card I have here is Heliod Suncrown. That's what we'll talk about. But in general, most Heliods have something to do with
yeah,
life gain.
absolutely.
Um,
If the name is Heliod, you're gaining life.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So Heliod Suncrown is a 3 mana, 2 generic, 1 white for a 5/5 god. It is a legendary enchantment
mm,
creature. It has indestructible. It does do the devotion shenanigans.
Yeah,
So as long as your devotion to white is less than 5, he isn't a creature.
yeah.
Just makes him a little bit less targetable if you're earlier in the game with
It
him.
also makes him slightly less broken early in the game. I mean, three
Yeah,
mana for an indestructible 5/5 is a
yeah,
crazy turn three
that's
play.
that's nuts.
Maybe even turn two if you get a soul ring
Yeah,
out. Like,
my goodness.
yeah, yeah, that's an incredible play.
Yeah. So he says, whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on a target creature or enchantment you control. And then you could pay 2, a white and a generic, for another target creature gains lifelink until end of turn.
Yeah. So he himself isn't gaining you life,
No.
but he is benefiting your board off of your life gain
Yes.
and giving other things the ability to gain life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think the really important thing on that is the 2 mana ability to give a creature lifelink
yeah,
because it's not a tap ability. You can do it as many times as you want.
totally.
And you do it in response to things. So if you have a board wide of things, you swing them all in. Some of them get blocked. The ones that don't get blocked and are getting through, you can put lifelink onto
Hmm.
those. That way, when combat damage resolves, the ones that made it through and survived are getting counters,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
absolutely.
there's some cool combat tricks that you can do with this that really capitalize on that life gain principle.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, you have someone attacking you as the other side of that as well, and you have something that is going to withstand the attack, but you want to benefit off of that more because maybe you don't have enough things wide-wise to block everything.
Mhm.
So you put your big thing, which I know we said white doesn't do very well, but if you're adding counters every time you gain life, I
It
mean,
should
it's
get pretty big.
possible.
Yeah,
You put your big thing in front of a 1/1, gain a bunch of life and take a bunch of hits, you net zero. So there's a defensive component there too.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Next up, we've got a Johnny Goldmane. In this case, there's lots of Johnnies as well. A Johnny Goldmane is a 4 CMC, 2 generic, 2 white planeswalker. He has some cool abilities. We'll go over this now. His loyalty uptick 1 is you gain 2 life.
Just a
Just
fat.
just life on a stick.
Just here, have some life.
Yeah, every single turn you're going to gain life.
Yeah.
Congratulations. I should mention he starts at 4 loyalty, and that is a +1 loyalty counter. He has a -1 loyalty counter, which is put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Those creatures gain vigilance until the end of turn. I mean, you just spam that every turn,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden, your really wide board full of cats that other Johnnies have produced for you
Yeah.
is going to be a problem.
Those cats likely have lifelink attached to them as
Exactly.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, giving your board vigilance and a +1/+1 counter for just -1 on the loyalty, that seems like an ultimate for some planeswalkers. So
Yeah.
that's very good. And then its ultimate ability, which is -6. So you do have a little bit of a ways to go to get there and not lose Johnny. Put a white avatar creature token onto the battlefield. It has this creature's power and toughness are each equal to your life total.
Oof. And a life gain strategy,
Yeah.
you just crank that bad boy up as
Yep.
much as you can, and now you've done what white doesn't do very well and created a one-shot robot.
Yeah, that is a big creature.
Yeah.
I mean, starting health in Commander is 40, so minimum start is 40. Um, Realistically, with life gain, I've had my life up to 200 before
Yeah.
easily. So
And in a really tuned life gain deck, like you're likely hitting thousands
yeah,
here, right?
absolutely.
All
Yeah,
you have to do is pair it with a rogue's passage or something like that, and just can be like, "Whoop! I'm slipping this through your
yeah,
ranks and punching you in the face. You're dead."
yep. Goodbye.
Yeah,
So yeah, a great planeswalker. Plus lifelink on a stick and counters on a stick.
yeah,
So it's a little bit of everything that you might want.
yeah. It's functional and it really fits what white wants to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So I mean, these are two options, guys. Tons, tons of lifelink out there in the world of white decks. Um, Realistically, pick whatever you want. These
yeah,
might just be supplementary, but great options.
yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Um, Next kind of archetype we're talking about is token.
Yeah, tokens, that wide strategy we were talking about earlier.
Yeah,
We'll start with Elspeth Sun's champion. She might be one of the more common kind of named characters in the
tons of
game.
Elspeths,
Yeah,
hundreds of
she's
Elspeths.
kind of everywhere, right?
Yeah,
She does a few different things, but token is one of the things that she just does really well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this one, Elspeth Sun's Champion, is 4 generic and 2 white for a total of 6 CMC for a Planeswalker. It is a 4 loyalty Planeswalker when she comes in. Her +1 is create 3 1/1 white soldier creature tokens. On base level, you're in a token strategy deck. Yeah, it's a free 3 tokens.
Free 3 tokens. And yes, they're 1/1s, but guys, there's lots of Lord effects. These come in as soldiers, so there's lots of Lord effects. There's
Yeah,
lots of ways to pump these creatures up. And if you're playing alternate strategies, I'm going to bring up Jenna with her Jenny Fey deck again. They don't come in as 1/1 soldiers. They come in as minimum 2/2 cats, which are typically buffed massively as well.
yeah,
So lots of options with that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's other stuff like there's a couple cards that we're about to talk about with this that fit on top of it and just make things beefy.
Yeah.
Her -3 is destroy all creatures with power 4 or greater. You're going to make 1/1s. If you're not lording them or lording them just a little bit, and then you just be
Just a
like,
little bit.
and blow away everything else, well, now you just have a board wide and an open target.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's really wild that there's a board wipe built right into her. Right?
It's kind of nuts.
It's
To be fair, it is a -3, so it's not a -1 like what we saw in a Johnny. You have to work a little bit to get this
yeah,
one.
yeah,
But still, board
yeah.
wipe on a stick is nuts.
It's crazy. And then her ultimate, her -7, you get an emblem, which I don't know if we've talked about emblems. Emblems attached to a player, and once they're out, you can't get rid of them.
Yeah,
They're
they
permanent.
are untargetable pieces that do not ever go away.
Yeah,
There's lots of different emblems. This one's pretty cool.
this one's nuts. So
Yeah.
you get an emblem with creatures you control get +2/+2 and have flying.
Mm, mm.
What's better than a whole bunch of white soldier creature tokens?
And I mean, realistically, to get there, you've activated her +1 ability at least three
At
times.
least 3 times. So you likely have at least 9
Yeah,
that you have just given wings.
yeah, and
And
+2
plus two,
plus two,
plus two.
which conveniently, just so you know, doesn't put them into
It, it
into
keeps
the
them,
effect of
yeah,
the
yeah, it
destruction.
keeps them under the board weight.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
very cool.
she's really great. A little bit slow, so you have to be a little bit
Mm,
cautious with her and protect her a little bit.
yeah,
But she's really great.
yeah, yeah, very cool. Moving on, we've got Cather's Crusade, which is a 5 CMC, 3 generic, 2 white for an enchantment. This enchantment is pretty simple. It reads, whenever a creature you control enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. So, I mean, we were just talking about creating 3 1/1 white soldiers at a time, so I guess we're just going to put out 3 1/1 counters on each creature we control every single turn.
Every single turn,
Yeah.
right? And in a really tuned again, especially really tuned mono white strategy,
Mm,
like you'd be putting out 10, 12
yeah.
tokens at a time where you're just dumping, right?
Yeah.
And importantly, it doesn't say whenever one or more creatures, just
No,
whenever a creature. So
a
it
creature.
counts every single
Every
one that's
single one.
coming in.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Kind of nuts. Yeah, kind of
Yeah.
nuts. If you're building a token deck and you don't have that in there, why?
Yeah. And then the combo piece with this that just makes it just that much more disgusting is Anointed Procession.
Mm,
3 generic, 1 white for enchantment. If an effect, so not just a card, a spell, anything, if an effect would create 1 or more tokens under your control, it creates twice that many tokens instead.
cool. So now you're creating 6 1/1 soldiers off of your planeswalker that then puts out 6 1/1 counters onto each of those creatures. Woof.
Just things get big, right? You're like, I have 6/1/1s, and the 6/1/1s I brought in last turn are now 7/7s, and you do it again, and now you have 6/1/1s, 6/7/7s, and 6 13/13s,
Yeah,
and it just progressively gets worse and worse and worse
yeah.
for your
That
opponents.
can be incredibly savage very quickly.
Yeah,
Now, to be fair on this, guys, we are talking about a total of 15 mana to get this set of 3 cards out on the board. You also have to pull 3 specific cards out of your deck of 99. So, is this going to happen every time you play? No, probably not. But the fact that you can do this and make this combo work is still crazy.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, if you're running things like land tax and smother and tithe and all that, you're
Idyllic tutor, you're pulling out your enchantments.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's lots of ways to get
Lots of
there.
ways
It's
to make it
possible.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know we said white doesn't go big very often. I've just been taught white can go big.
They prefer going wide and then
Yeah.
making everything that they made big.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Absolutely.
their thing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I guess we're kind of moving on to stacks and taxes.
Oh,
The
my least favorite archetype.
yeah, the law and order of things here.
Yeah.
Um,
Lots of bad things. Lots of bad things are about to come up, and I don't really want to tell you about them because that means you'll play them. So please don't. But here we go. First up, we've got Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. This is a 2 CMC, 1 generic, 1 white for a legendary creature, Human Soldier. What a surprise.
yeah, who
Um,
knew?
this creature has First Strike, and non-creature spells cost 1 more to cast.
Stacks are
It's
terrible.
also a 2/1, so 2 mana for a 2/1. Yes, it's weak, but
It's got first strike. It
it's
can
got First
survive
Strike. It
probably.
can survive a lot of things, and also you're not casting instants as quickly as you should be. So congratulations, you've been taxed.
Yeah, yeah. It's just not great. Yeah. She finds her way into more games than I would like, and as a spell slinger player, it's really frustrating sometimes to try and deal with
Yeah,
that kind of oppression,
yeah,
right? And to have to allocate resources to remove it so I don't have to deal with it.
yeah,
That's the most annoying part is I now have to dedicate a part of my game to removing it to be able to play my game,
yeah.
right? Which is exactly what White wants.
Yep.
Next up, we have Rule of Law. It's 3 CMC, 2 generic, 1 white for an enchantment. It says each player can't cast more than 1 spell each turn. Talk about slowing down a game. Rule of Law is what to do. And White doesn't care much about it because once White has all of its pieces out, it's just focusing on abilities, right?
Yeah,
Loyalty abilities from their planeswalkers, triggers off of their enchantments,
yeah,
that kind of thing. They're not caring about ETBs, right? Whereas, again, a spell slinger, you've just removed them from you just shot their kneecaps
yeah,
out. They're not doing anything.
yeah. I mean, you know, benefit here. It says each player, so they're hurting themselves, quote unquote,
Yeah.
too. And some white players will try and politic that piece in. They'll say, "Oh, but it hurts me too. I can't play as fast." Kill them anyway.
Yeah. Get them. Remove them from the game.
Next up, we've got Ghostly Prison. This is actually a piece that I really like. I put it in a lot of white decks I play. It is the taxes that I can agree with.
Yeah. Yeah.
These are the taxes I don't mind paying. So this is a 3 CMC, 2 generic, 1 white for an enchantment. Creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays 2 for each creature they control that is attacking you. So this stops wide board decks pretty effectively. Um, a person who's playing a Voltron deck isn't really going to care too much about this. They're going to pay the 2 mana, they're going to hit you. But this does stop a lot of damage coming your way, and realistically, it's only taxes for your opponent if they try and hit you. So you're not really being rude.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really just a defensive mechanism.
Yeah,
And I do like when we're looking at the grand scheme of where white is making you pay to do
yeah,
actions, because that's really what this is. They're making you pay to do actions. This, I think, is some of the best version of that, because
yeah,
sure, it might be infuriating that you have to pay mana to swing in, but it's not stopping your game. It's just stopping you from
hitting
beating
that
that
person.
person,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
And there's lots of like Ghostly Prison, in my opinion, is the best version of this, but
Yeah,
there's lots of cards that
there's
do this as
lots that do very similar things. I mean, even blue has propaganda, which is
well. Yeah.
essentially the
It's
exact
the
same
same thing
card.
in
It's
blue.
the same CMC, just blue. Like
Yeah.
it's so this card does have alternates out there. It's just this is a very good
Yeah,
one.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Really want to touch quickly on some things that we didn't talk about. I mean, we talked about the main archetypes of white and what they can do,
Hmm.
but we didn't really touch on their tribal identities.
Yeah.
So, in terms of that, you've kind of got three major.
I mean, I'm
I
sure
mean,
there's
there's
more,
more. There's
but
more out there, but three major ones,
yeah,
and those are very obviously angels.
yeah.
Um, angels love white. That's the main color they come in.
And this that was if you were playing white 5 or 6 years ago,
Mm.
even, you
You were
were
playing
probably
angels.
playing
Yeah,
angels. Yeah.
yeah, that's very fair. There's some incredibly strong creatures in that tribe.
Yeah.
The fact that they almost all have flying just straight off the bat. Um, Relatively low CMC for a lot of angels as well,
Yeah.
in terms of the things that they can do.
Yeah.
So that's an incredible tribe. You got soldiers, which we've seen some.
Yeah. Yeah. They're just everywhere.
There's a lot.
There's a lot of just soldiers.
Yeah,
It's one of their favorite things to do is just produce
yeah.
soldiers.
Yeah, and I mean, even with sets like Lord of the Rings and Final Fantasy, we got more soldiers
Yeah.
that added into that
Yeah.
way. It's
There
there's always more coming.
there will always be support for
Yep,
soldiers. Yeah.
always, always. Cats, which is
Yeah.
one that Jenna plays. I've talked about it a couple
Yeah.
of times now. You've got a Johnny who is he's a planeswalker, but he's a cat.
Yeah, but
He's a
he's
cat.
a cat, right? And he's kind of where the cat thing came from,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Because he's one of the five original planeswalkers, and he just
Mm,
started. They're like great cats in mono white. Let's do it, and they
let's do it.
just cats everywhere.
Cats everywhere.
Yeah,
And this can be cats from tiny little cute house cats all the way up to ginormous big cats. There's a cat for every size.
yeah.
Jenna has some dragon cat tokens, which are kind of cool. I don't know how you get dragon cats, but they exist. So there you go.
I mean, Shrek did donkey dragons instead
That's
of cat dragons.
that's true, but crossbreeding a donkey and a dragon and crossbreeding a cat and a dragon seem like two very different things.
I don't know. What we're talking about, what we're talking about. I don't think there's much difference here.
And, and then last up, guys, kind of the last of the major one is allies.
Yeah, I mean we've seen a lot of ally cards in there. Like core have a lot of allies and all that kind of stuff. There's some ally support I think that just came out in Final Fantasy. I
Mm,
think there's some coming in Avatar as well.
yeah, I think there is. Yeah,
I need to double check that because I'm not 100% on the Final Fantasy thing, but
I think there was a couple in Final Fantasy. I think I remember seeing some in your Titus deck. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I'm fairly certain that a lot of the Air Nomad cards that are coming out as allies.
fair enough.
Again, I'll double check that,
Yeah,
but uh, but yeah,
yeah,
they are getting support for
yeah,
sure.
absolutely. A little bit smaller on that one, but still there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Uh, Notable white cards. I mean, outside of the ones we've talked about, which are your really big game changing cards, your incredible combos for whatever strategy you're trying to achieve. These are just some, honorable mentions, let's call them. Cards that are pretty much in every white deck as just a staple,
Yeah,
so on and so forth.
absolutely.
Yeah. Starting with Swords to Plowshares. It is the removal
It
spell.
is. Yeah.
Everybody knows Swords to Plowshares. It's probably the first card I actually memorized back when I started because I think you had a Japanese version of it, so
Yep.
I couldn't read it, so I
Yep.
had to memorize it.
Yep.
Um, Single white instant card. Exile target creature. Its controller gains life equal to its power. Um, yeah, exile creature means gets past indestructible, gets past, can't be killed, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It's just good.
Yeah. It removes it, gets around death triggers, and then puts it in a place that is very hard to get things back from.
Yeah, yeah,
It's possible. There's a few things that can go digging around in exile like that, but very hard to
yeah.
get there.
Very niche.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then we have its sister card, Path to Exile here. 1 mana for instant exile target creature. Its controller may search the library for a basic land card, put that land card on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle.
yeah.
So basically,
Land or life.
yeah, it's land or life.
Yeah,
It really is. I always thought that they should maybe be swapped. Source of Plowshare seems like
you should be plowing
you should
land.
be going and plowing a field.
Yeah,
You should be getting a land
yeah,
for it. Path to Exile, you gain life, right? It's the nomad lifestyle and all
yeah.
that.
I kind of get the path to exile part, but Swords to Plowshare should actually
Should
absolutely
actually
be
be
land.
land. Yeah, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably the two most effective single target removal cards, probably in the entire game.
Yeah, yeah, most likely. Then you got your board wipes, board resets, however you want to look at them. Wrath of God being one. It is two generic, two white CMC for a sorcery card, so this can't be cast at instant speed. If it could, that would be broken. Destroy all creatures, they can't be regenerated. Regeneration was a relatively small part of Magic. I don't see a ton of it played anymore.
I actually remarkably played a game last Friday against a guy who he had I think Harvester of Souls has
Okay.
regenerate, and he used it like 6 times. I'm like, this Harvester of Souls won't die. Jeez.
So I mean, it's out there,
Yeah,
and this stops that from happening. But
yeah,
relatively niche. You're mostly looking for the destroy all creatures for four CMC.
yeah,
Four CMC.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And then the kind of older sibling to this one is Farewell,
Mm.
which 4 generic, 2 white for sorcery. Choose one or more. Exile all artifacts, exile all creatures, exile all enchantments, exile all graveyards. So
Mm.
this lets you decide what you want to do. And if you're playing what most white decks kind of play, where it's enchantments and planeswalkers that are doing all the heavy lifting,
Yeah.
you just don't choose. You
Yeah.
just don't choose
Just don't
enchantments.
choose what you have that everyone
Yeah,
else does, and congratulations, you're probably winning.
and yeah, at very least, right? It's got the graveyard hate built in,
Yeah.
which I really love, right? Like Bajuka Bog is kind of what I see used most to attack
That's
graveyards.
your,
Throwing
your
that
primary graveyard hate
right.
for sure.
But this, like, you can only Bajuka Bog once, usually. There's ways of balancing it, but usually you can only Bajuka Bog once. This, especially if you have multiple people who are digging the graveyards, you're like,
Yeah.
that's enough nonsense. You 6 mana to get rid of 3 graveyards is
Is
relatively cheap.
yeah, that's relatively. And I mean, not to say that you're not going to do every
Yeah,
other thing on that as well, right?
yeah,
It's relatively cheap to get rid of 3 graveyards, but then you're also getting rid of several creatures. And again, this is an exile piece, whereas the Wrath of God is destroy, so things with indestructible get around that. This is exile.
it's
Nothing
just
nothing
nothing.
escapes.
Yeah,
Nothing escapes. You hit
yeah,
everything. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, Averson, Angel of Hope, is probably one of my new favorite cards.
She's bonkers.
I put
She's
it
great.
in. I put it in my Angel
And
deck.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. She's
it's
kind of a
good.
need in that.
It's needed.
Yeah,
Um, anyway, she is expensive. 8 CMC, 5 generic, 3 white. For a legendary creature angel, her keywords are flying, vigilance, and indestructible. And then she also says other permanents you control have indestructible. Great. Congratulations, the only way to remove my board is to exile everything on it, and I guarantee you don't have that many exile cards.
you just need a farewell.
Yeah, you
You
need the
just need a
farewell.
farewell. Yeah, yeah. Or you need to exile Avacyn herself
Yes.
first. You have to
Yeah.
two-step it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
And I mean, you put some protection on Averson, and then now it's a 3 step, and then you put a little bit more, and it's a 4 step, and then you put something
yeah,
else in there that gives all your other creatures indestructible, and now it's a 5 step. So
yeah,
congratulations.
absolutely.
It's bonkers.
Yeah,
She is the pinnacle of angels.
yeah. She really is. Right. I mean, her name kind of Avacyn, Angel of Hope.
Yes.
It makes
Yeah.
sense, right?
Yeah.
She does what she does.
I also forgot to mention, and I feel bad for not mentioning this. She's an 8/8.
Yeah, 8 mana for an 8/8, just flat is good. You add Flying Vigilance, Indestructible. She's amazing.
Yeah.
You add in, oh, by the way, everything else, all my other permanents, not just creatures,
Yeah. This is
permanents.
enchantments, artifacts, everything.
Your
Yeah.
lands, even,
Yeah.
right? All of it's indestructible. I mean, I'd pay 8 mana if she was a 2/2.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
she's just that good.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I mean, now that we've talked about the whammy of all cards in white, we have come to the end.
Yeah,
Like I said at the start, guys, this is going to be a 32 episode series, spanning a long time. So stick with us. We'll get to your color eventually,
yeah.
and then we'll get to your color pairing eventually, and then we'll do Blueberg eventually.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah.
Once we get into 2 colors as well, we'll probably open it up and see what people want to hear about
Yeah.
next.
Absolutely.
But we're gonna go through the first 5. Those are already scheduled. Those are in place. So over the next 5 months, watch for those.
Yeah. And yeah. And then yeah. I don't know. Shoot us a message. Leave a comment. Let us know what colors you want to see first, and we'll kind of go from there.
Absolutely. And as always, guys, make sure you remember to make the deck about you and the game all about the gathering. We'll see you next time.
Have a good one.